computer.
Okay.
Okay, that's
well,
good.
Here we are. Well, we're in the shed, and as we were saying, this is a momentous day today because we have our first guest in the shed, who's Nikki Harris. So so we're really excited about this.
So Nikki is a nutritionist, a nutritional
therapist.
A nutritional therapist. And I often get, I said, dietitians and nutritionists get confused, get mixed up. People think they're going to have a diet plan, or they're going to be told that they're allergic to wheat or something like that. But it's so much more than that. It's a whole science in and of itself. So in the next 10 minutes,
yes, one piece of advice. Let's start with one piece of advice, or one takeaway you'd think if somebody who came to you who was kind of thinking, who's in perimenopause, working up to menopause. What do you think is the first thing that you might get clear with that person?
I think if someone's approaching menopause, so someone's in perimenopause, which is that kind of 10-year as we lead up to menopause, and menopause, the UK average is 51. So anyone kind of in their 40s, I think the biggest piece of advice I would give them is to prepare your body now. Start preparing, the earlier the better. Get that body in the right shape as you hit menopause, because we want to have a smoother transition. We can't avoid the menopause. We can't dodge it. It's part of our life. It's part of a woman's natural evolution of her being a woman. So we can't avoid it. So I think the biggest piece of advice I can give to anyone who is leading up to that is prepare your body. And what I mean by that is prepare your body as a vessel, as prepare for those changes, because when those ovaries stop the production of estrogen, it will be down to your adrenal glands, which are the small walnut-shaped glands that sit on top of your kidneys around the back area there. They will be the glands that will take over most of the hormone production, so the estrogen, progesterone and testosterone, and also estrogen is also made in our fat cells as well, and that's why weight gain can be more troublesome as we hit menopause. So it is about preparing your body, making sure that you're nourishing your body with the right kind of foods. I don't think you need me or anyone else to tell you what is not beneficial and what is beneficial to eat. I don't like to label foods treat and good and bad, because there is no good and bad. It's about balance. So I think it's about nourishing your body with the right kinds of foods, and we do need to adopt a change in our diet that is more geared up for that transition.
Yeah, and you were saying before that you thought that people kind of often expect there to be one solution, and then
it's a very multifactorial layer. Yeah. So it's about preparing the body, looking at your diet, looking at your lifestyle, looking at your stress, and encouraging as much sleep as you can. So it's really about nurturing yourself. And the commonest question I always get asked is, what can I take? What supplements can I take? There are whole
everything.
Yeah, there is no one size fits all. We are all different. We will all have a different journey into menopause. I am now approaching 48 and I have minimal symptoms. I'm still a size 10 and I sleep pretty well. And yeah, I have minimal symptoms. I do have some, but I'm mindful of that. And I work with my body. I know my limits. I know when, so I think, having this idea of that we need to be putting on 2 dress sizes and, sort of really stressed out and sort of having a really bumpy ride into menopause. I think that it is possible for us to have a smoother transition when we look after ourselves. So I think there is no one size fits all. HRT has its place, absolutely. That is a medication, so it's not something I administer as a nutritional therapist. But I think it's like anything. We need to make sure that we prepare the body and give it the best environment for that medication to work in. So if that's your choice, great. If not, there are more natural approaches, sort of looking at the body as a whole. So I think there are set supplements that you can take, but as a nutritional therapist, my job, the way I work, is not to just pile you up with a load of supplements, but it's to help you to understand your body, to nourish your body, to look at your lifestyle, to look at what else is going on. And I do that a lot through the blood work that I do. So while supplementation is a very small part of what I do, I don't rely on a supplement to be a quick fix to stick a plaster on it just to kind of make do. Let's have a look at what is driving underneath that. So if you've got someone that's really, really stressed and you give them something like ashwagandha or phosphodietyl or rhodiola rosé or something like that, that's great, but they're not addressing what is driving it. So you can give them that, and I used to, but I don't. What I do now is I look at their lifestyle and I really get them to look at that and pull back so that they can then, because if you give someone a supplement and that helps to mitigate the stress, then they're not actually going to look at the underneath layer of it, the fact that they're working too long, they've got too much to do. So when we empower them, which is what we're doing, we're empowering women and giving them a choice to look after themselves and think, okay, is the fact that I'm doing this, trying to cram so much in one day, that is affecting my HPA axis, my hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, which is the axis that our stress hormones work on, and that has a negative effect then on our hormones.
So I think that's quite an interesting point, because what it is that often people tend to treat the symptoms rather than the cause. And I think that's quite an interesting thing, that I think we've got used to that. That you know, you kind of think, oh right, I've got a pain, I'm gonna take an aspirin or a paracetamol or whatever it is. You don't think, why have I got that pain? What's kind of what's causing that? And I think that's
my job.
We've just got to.
It's the medical model, and
it is a medical model.
Holistic approach is a solution based approach, as opposed to a squashing down of the symptoms approach.
Yeah.
But what if somebody came to you? What would you would look at the bloods? You look at bloods and take some bloods, or have blood tests done to look at a holistic lifestyle. That would be your sort of start for that. And then would you recommend changes in what they're, not only what they're doing, but would you recommend changes in their diet? I know we don't want to talk about the dietitian, but would you look at it more in that holistic, what suits you? Do you say you're better on these proteins rather than these? How do you approach that part?
Yeah, so it's really a bespoke approach. So it depends what the symptoms are. I always kind of work on 2 symptoms at any one time. So it's looking at why they're coming to see me. So if it's weight loss, if it's kind of irregular periods, or I do seem to attract a lot of weight loss clients, especially kind of as they move up to the menopause. And I think that yes, we do need to have a look at the diet, because is always food first. As a nutritional therapist, it's always going to be food first, and the power of food is amazing. I saw a client last year, and she came to me absolutely crippled with osteoarthritis. She couldn't even undo a lid on a jar in the morning. It was affecting her job, her quality of life. She felt miserable. She was overweight. Her sister had a cardiovascular scare. So anyway, we couldn't do any supplementation work with her because we had to refer her back to her GP. So it was literally food first. And we just got her to remove the inflammatory foods from her diet. And she was, and I think she just thought, this is, I was trying to explain to her how sugar is so inflammatory.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of was like, okay, I kind of believe you, but anyway, the proof was in the pudding. She lost 7 pounds within 2 weeks. She reduced her inflammation. As we carried on working together, we did sort of introduce some supplements further on down the line, much further on down the line. And she used to go to work with a neck fan, with the hot sweats. And with the changes in her diet, her lifestyle was pretty much okay, and adding in some of these supplements and some other elements as well, she didn't have to go to work with that neck fan on, and she could kind of she did kind of flush up now and again, but that kind of
that's a normal part of showing changes are taking place, isn't it? I think you're right. I mean, I see these people don't really equate their hormonal problems. I mean, like yourself, I deal with people that have hormonal problems all their life, and then of course they have a terrible menopause because that's but they expect it to sort of sort itself out. But that diet, I mean, we know for certain that PCOS is directly related to insulin resistance, which of course is related to sugars. So we've got proof that estrogen changes the way that it's absorbed with sugars. And people don't worry about that with diabetes and with PCOS, but then they don't take it that bigger picture. But your irregular periods, or the fact that you've got very painful periods, and I always work at the fact that the healthier you can get to menopause, stressing, we should have healthy regular cycles through our life. Then you will have a healthy menopause. So we should be addressing all of it. Whereas a lot of women say, I can't wait for menopause because I'm bleeding for 2 weeks out of every 4. It's so painful. I have to have a week off work. So when menopause hits, it's going to be amazing.
I think that's really key. And I think our periods really do display, I think it's almost like a display of how healthy we are. I think, you know, too many women today just accept painful periods, heavy periods, endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, as you said. You know, a very strong element there to the insulin resistance, too many androgens and male hormones, too many testosterones. It affects the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone that can prevent us from having a cycle full stop. Then that affects our fertility. So yes, we do need to address our diet. I mean, excuse the pun, I don't sugarcoat things. I do, because I think it's important that, you know, if you come to work with me and you're investing in your health, you want somebody that's going to be able to guide you in a firm but fair way. You know, it's not about kind of scolding you because you haven't done what you've said, but it's about being able to have the confidence to be able to guide these women who come to see me for that help, and to be able to keep them accountable, and just to sort of find out, you know, well, if they're not able to do this and they can't manage that, you know, let's get to the underlying reason of why not. Is there some resistance there we need to work on? Is there some mental health blocks there that then we might be needing to kind of signpost to somebody else who can work alongside the work that we do? So I think it isn't just about, oh, you need to eat this, you need to eliminate that, you need to do this, and off you go with a couple of supplements. No, that's not how I work. I work with the woman, and we do work together, and you know, kind of do get to the root cause and find out what is going on. And you know, I think that you know, sort of with polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, you know, the solution from the medical is to kind of go on the pill or have the Mirena coil fitted.
Well, they have very little tools. It's the pill, HRT, or say Mirena coil or implant, but it's the equivalent of. So it's contraception or HRT. But it's
getting to the root cause.
I feel like we could talk all morning
and
about
it would be
this.
So interesting.
And seems to
and
me
it isn't,
because I could just leave you two alone in the room and it
no, it's fine. But it isn't.
Oh, she's frozen.
Getting to the root cause, I think, and that's where there is that kind of overlap. So
So I think that's great, and I think it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant, Nikki, for you to be our first guest on the shed. How fantastic!
I'm flattered, and it's been lovely.
We're kind of thinking this might be a regular thing because obviously neither of us are nutritional therapists, but what we find is that some women have found that that's worked for them in their, and we're always saying, look at what works for you as you go to perimenopause and go back to things that work for you and make those decisions. So I feel like this is the start of a beautiful relationship.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely, yes, definitely. I'd love to be a part of it, and I think that, you know, I think sometimes it's giving people that knowledge, and that, you know, if they don't know any different, then they don't know what other options are out there for them. You know, some people are quite happy to go on the pill. Some people aren't interested in looking at their diet. That's absolutely fine. But you're not my client, and that's great. But the people that are willing to invest in their health and put the legwork in, because I think when you come to see a nutritional therapist, it isn't about just having a massage or some kind of like acupuncture pin and you go away and you feel great. You have to do the work. So it is about being committed.
It changes all of you, and I think it really empowers people because they feel that they're victim. So I think you're very empowering, and I'd love to do this more regularly, and it'd be nice to actually pick apart a little bit more PCOS, a little bit more this, and how we expect that to come through in menopause, and perhaps unpack it a little bit.
But
so
I think
that'd be nice.
For today, I think you've given us a lot of information. That's brilliant, and we look forward
to
Okay.
Take care, Nikki. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, ladies.
Great.
Take care. Bye. Bye.